The Fighting Edge arcade stick, released back in 2012, was Hori's big project to make a design out of the ordinary from the Real Arcade Pro series, as well as other sticks on the market. It became one of Hori's most popular sticks at the time. Unfortunately, for some time, it was stuck in the previous generation of consoles up until now. Exclusive to the PlayStation 4, the new Hori Fighting Edge is here. I'm the Phantomnaut here at iPlayWinner checking it out. Before we get started looking at the stick itself, let's open it. Compared to the original Fighting Edge's more elaborate format, this is a lot more simpler. This version is housed in a box that does look underwhelming, but it makes up for being easy to remove. Aside from the stick itself, inside includes the manual and simple side foam inserts that keep the stick adequately in place. Alright, with that said, now let's really begin. The most obvious thing you might notice in the new Fighting Edge is the change in look. Instead of a plexi panel from the original, this is sported with brushed metal. I do miss the original look though for what it provided, but the metal panel makes more sense. The Yaiba kanji, meaning blade, is one of the pieces used for the stick's branding. The panel, combined with the already sleek and edgy body design, evokes an elegant and precisely made blade, like a katana. It just simply looks excellent. As mentioned, the body design still remains. The cool slick design still elicit a look of what arcade sticks should become in the future, while not looking to overemphasize. Things like the angular wrist rest and the subtle side handles are still there. The bottom still has an anti-slip mat, which is more durable on surfaces and legs than the original model. The change in the panel omits two notable pieces in the original Fighting Edge, the side LEDs and the LED touch panel. For the former, it was used to provide visual spectacle during a vibration trigger in games such as hitting an opponent or getting hit yourself. The lights were a really nice effect, but adding that to the new model would have looked out of place and distracting. When it comes to the touch panel, special controls can be found on the right side, but now they are separated in different parts of the stick. Options is now a dedicated button on the top right of the panel, while other controls such as share, tournament mode, and assign mode are found under the right handle, which is more or less fine. Speaking of tournament and assign modes, they perform very similarly to what's found on the original Fighting Edge. Tournament mode locks all your special control inputs so you won't accidentally pause mid-match. Assign mode lets you swap any of the main panel's buttons to an input of your choice. The caveat to this is that you need your manual when working in this mode. It can feel confusing to know what input you assign the button to without it. With the lack of an LED panel, you don't have a visual indicator, which is unfortunate. Most of the time I stick with unassigning inputs from the game itself instead of on the Fighting Edge. The original Fighting Edge had two compartments, one for the USB cable and a smaller secondary one for accessories and other things. The secondary compartment was removed here to house the touchpad. Like other sticks with touchpad, you could use it to reset positions in training modes in fighting games, as well as use it to scroll in text chat. For what it does, it works fine. There's one issue with touchpad though, which we will check on later in this video. A new yet small addition to the Fighting Edge is a 3.5mm audio jack, which is perfect for headphones and headsets. It's not really usable for tournaments due to how Sony outputs audio, but it's really useful for private play. Now let's take a look at the arcade parts. The Hayabusa lever and Kura push buttons were their first attempt at providing competitive parts. They premiered in the original Fighting Edge. Mostly met with success, these parts were found in subsequent Hori sticks. In between the original and new model's release, there have been changes. The Kura buttons were eventually replaced by the great Hayabusa buttons. They feel considerably faster and better performing, a worthy alternative to Sanwa Denshi's OBS-30 series of buttons. The matte finished plungers, plus the silver rims are nice touches and do accentuate the overall look of the stick. The Hayabusa lever aims to combine aspects found in Sanwa Denshi's JLF lever with those from Seimitsu. The lever on the original Fighting Edge felt just that and was overall solid. There have been some changes, but not necessarily for the better. They now use different switches, which are fine, but it's the very loose spring which is the most troubling. During my time using the lever, I get unintentional inputs including sudden jumps if I let go after holding down. It's been recommended that the stock spring gets replaced by something heavier for considerably better results. After doing one with my friend's Hayabusa lever, I definitely felt the difference. Most players should look into this mod. When it comes to compatibility, this is the first stick from Hori designed to work only on PlayStation 4 and PC. PlayStation 3 support is extremely limited as it works for a second, following a small break of nothing. It's unfortunate to see this happen, but eventually, most manufacturers will have to move on from the previous generation. While I haven't tested it yet, you could always look into using the yellow super converter from Brook if you want to play a fighting game only really playable on the PS3. On the PC side of things, it uses X input, so most fighting games on there will work fine. The only problem I had is that the touchpad doesn't act as a select or back button, so if you depend on the pad for resetting purposes in training mode, you will need to use the share button instead. The thing about the share button is that it feels awkward to press since it's under the right handle. The Fighting Edge is priced at $200, same as the Razer Pantera and the Comba Obsidian. The competitors do have benefits such as ease of modding, PS3 support, and Sanwa Denshi parts out of the box. If those do not matter to you and are willing to forgive some of its shortcomings, the Fighting Edge is still a good choice. There are still good things that outweigh some of its flaws. Owners of the previous Fighting Edge models will be content with the new edition. For those who want the most stylish of the three, this stick is it. The Hori Fighting Edge arcade stick is available now. Store links plus the full written review can be found in the description below. Until next time, thanks for watching.